And as far as Breeze and Zayn here, this is to determine the next number one contender for the NXT Championship. I have felt like for a long time that Tyler Breeze's time is due. We just got done saying earlier that Neville really doesn't seem to be clicking. I'm going to be honest. In my ideal world, Breeze overcomes Zayn at TakeOver, and then he goes on to win the NXT Championship. I don't want Neville to really go on a long run. I feel like that title has Tyler Breeze's name and hopefully soon his face all over it. So
Dude, I 100% agree, and here's my thing. Tyler Breeze is one of those guys that we're worried about getting watered down. So to me, I want him to be on NXT for as long as possible. So yeah, give him the title. There's nothing about Adrian Neville that you can water down from a gimmick standpoint. He's already as bland and generic as they come, but he's so good in the ring that the WWE, and besides, they've been throwing his name around like it's a freaking football. You might as well just bring him up because everybody already knows who he is at this point with all the freaking mentions, and he was in the dark match between Main Event and SmackDown in the UK. Like, he is already like getting well known on WWE, and they aren't even trying to tease him getting called up. So I think it's about time. Yeah, give that title to Breeze. Let him stay on NXT for another year so that we can have him stay entertaining for that amount of time until they pull him up to WWE and turn him into a jobber. And yeah, call Neville up and have him just get put on amazing matches with everybody.
yeah, WWE, I don't know what happened, but they need to return to that mentality. Like I'm assuming they had with the Shield, Rollins, Reigns, and Ambrose, that you're not going to bring a talent up unless you really have something that's relevant to their gimmick or just something major in general waiting for them when they get there. Because just, already Adam Rose, I feel like he's already lukewarm in my estimation with the main crowds because he's feuding with Swagger. You already addressed the problems there. And I don't know, just something really isn't clicking with me like he seems to on NXT, which we'll get to later.
And the thing
But
is,
yeah,
Bo Dallas should be the answer to the heel question that we've had for so long. Bo Dallas should be the most hateable guy in the company. He should be the number one mid-card heel in the company, and he should be the guy that guys like Adam Rose can come in to feud with, and people get it right away. But he's going to end up getting a mixed reaction because they're immediately debuting him with this smarmy, he likes everybody, but he's a kind of douchey, smarmy heel kind of thing. And people, just the casual mainstream audience, isn't going to know how to react.
yeah, I don't know. Like, I probably would have debuted Bo Dallas, like shaking hands with everybody in the locker room, like really being a nice guy, really excited for his debut match. Heck, maybe he even comes up short in it, and then he cuts like this really over the top, like really working your vomiting reflexes promo about how he's not going to give up and he's going to keep scratching and clawing till he reaches the top or something like that.
But that's Cena, dude!
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, that's his idol, though, is John Cena. And Bo Dallas, I think, really emulates him in his own way.
Though. That's the problem, is that John Cena is a freaking babyface by WWE standards. So anybody that acts like him, people are going to want to cheer.
We'll see how Bo can handle it, and we'll see how WWE will handle it. But, more importantly, we're looking at the future of two men here. I mean, Sami Zayn's another one. We talked so much about Tyler Breeze. Sami Zayn has been consistently close, it seems, to that NXT championship. But, with Neville being a babyface champion, unless for some odd reason he turns, I think Sami Zayn is still going to be kept out of arm's reach of that gold. I definitely think it's Breeze's time, and personally, I think they could steal the show at TakeOver. To me, this looks like the most promising match on the card, if I'm really being honest. So
Yeah, dude. Kid Neville, you can't really. It's tough to steal the show when the main event is that good.
that's true. I mean, from a technical standpoint, I think that match definitely has a leg up. But you figure Breeze actually has a personality that connects with the crowd. Zayn's athleticism is a lot like Neville's. I mean, his gimmick is that he's a nice guy. We've joked about it a million times. But his athleticism just takes your breath away. So I think, those two elements really go a long way in making a great match. Whereas with those two, Kid and Neville, it's just going to be that the appreciators of athleticism and in-ring technical wrestling and stuff, that'll be their match.
It's basically going to be like an ROH main event.
Yes, perfect description, Ashton.
All right. Let's move on. Tamina versus Paige was our first Divas match of the night and our second match of the night overall. It was a solid match. At one point, Paige pulled out the knee to the face, kind of like what Punk used to do into the turnbuckle, but it was into the ropes. That was pretty cool. But the one thing I do want to point out here, I normally do not like this new commentator, Rich Brennan, but I want to give him credit for pointing out that at one point, Paige got sat up on the top rope, not the top turnbuckle, it was the middle of the rope, and pushed off of it, and she landed on the edge of the apron and then hit the ground on the outside. And Rich Brennan was the only person who came out and acknowledged that's the hardest part of the ring. So props to him.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like he's going to be one of those guys that really navigates through the waters slowly but surely. I'm sure something will click with him, and he'll at least be tolerable at best, which by today's commentary standards, I mean, if you could be tolerable, I mean, you're in. So,
I think he might pull a Tom Phillips, because when Tom Phillips first showed up, I couldn't stand him, and now I love the dude.
yeah, really. I think you just got to get comfortable. You know, it's definitely a rough transition because WWE is just a whole different animal than anything else. So, you know, I'll give Rich his time. That said, I enjoyed this match. It's so refreshing to see two women go out in the ring and just be physical and have a fight. Because that's really the vibe I got from this match. I mean, these two really had a brawl. Some great moments from both. I loved how when Paige tried to go for her knees on the apron, Tamina caught the knee and she clotheslined her off of it. Like you said, Ashton, the moment where she pushed her off the ropes there. Then, you know, Tamina just using her power offense. That was great. We saw a torture rack. That was pretty impressive. Paige's comebacks are always nice. The crowd is so into her. Just really a great match overall between these two.
Yeah, it was fun. So the finish happens when Tamina is attempting a superfly splash. Paige gets her knees up, and then the roll up for the win.
Yep, absolutely, just like that. No more to say than that.
No Paige Turner, no Scorpion Crosslock, just a roll up.
I'm cool with it though, because again, Tamina really was very aggressive and dominant in the bout. So for Paige to get a win in that fashion, which was much better than your typical schoolboy, it makes sense. Really shows the battle that she had to endure.
Yep. All right. So up next we had Camacho versus Adam Rose, and this, it was a pretty quick match. It didn't have a decisive result because Camacho ended up getting counted out. But I do like what I saw from these two, and Camacho actually showed me a side of himself that I was surprised by. He hit a gorgeous butterfly suplex in this match that really caught my eye.
Yeah, that surprised me too, dude. His athleticism that he displayed between the butterfly suplex, his leg drop that he does has always been good, but it seemed like tonight he got an extra little bit of height, it seemed. His running Samoan drop, that was good. I mean, yeah, Camacho, he's another one I think he's really figuring things out. And who knows? I mean, with talent, you either sink or swim. We'll see where Camacho ends up. Adam Rose continues to be fun. I love the NXT crowd because, you know, again, when you're in with them, you seem to be in for life. Really supportive of Rose, really getting into him. They even had a "We Are Rosebuds" chant. He got all of his typical offense. He tried going for his finisher, but Camacho was able to roll out. And then something must have clicked in Camacho's brain, Ashton, because he decided, you know what? I'm not dealing with this. And he walked out.
But here's the thing. He decided that he doesn't want any of this and walked out. But we found out later in the night that these two are going to face off at TakeOver.
Yeah, I like that the story's continuing here. And one important thing to note is that, you know, while Camacho was backpedaling, I liked what he said to Adam Rose here because Adam Rose said, "Come on, get back in here, let's finish this." And Camacho said, "No way, I underestimated you." So that would seem to assume that you know, at TakeOver, he'll be more prepared for Adam Rose, and we may even see an even more back and forth matchup, which I would like. So, you know what, honestly, these guys have got me invested.
I didn't hear him say that, but that is really, really awesome. I didn't hear him say that though. Wow.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what he told me. He said, "I underestimated you." So it shows that, you know what, Camacho, he took that breather, not because he didn't want to necessarily finish the match, but because he knows for his mission to be successful, he's got to go back to the drawing board, and the final blueprint should be ready in time for TakeOver. So we'll see what happens then.
Yeah, he got Adam Rose got all of his signature offense in, but the one spot that was missing from this match was the flips. When somebody goes to grab his leg and he just flips out of it, and then he keeps like rolling around in circles.
Yeah, you know what? Good catch by you because I wouldn't have even thought to mention that. So
I pay attention to signature moves.
that's what you do!
Yeah. So up next, we had our second Divas match of the night. Sasha Banks versus Natalya. And this was a decent match, but it didn't really live up to the hype that I personally had for it, because I personally think Sasha Banks might be the most underrated diva in the company. But yeah, it was all right, not great. I feel like this match, really, the underlying theme was, it really just felt like Natalya was powering Sasha Banks through this match. Like, Natalya just dominated her from bell to bell. And at one point, Charlotte comes over because Sasha got thrown out of the ring, and then she comes over and she's trying to yell at Sasha to get back in the ring. The ref's only at 7, and Charlotte throws Sasha back into the ring, basically throwing her to the wolves, because Natalya immediately gets the sharpshooter for the win.
Yeah, you know what though? Really watching this match and watching everything unfold, let's not forget either, just to kind of rewind a little bit, that before this match, we had a screen promo from Charlotte, pretty much saying that, yeah, it would be cool if Sasha beat the has-been Natty, but that she doesn't want to face her because she'd have to expose all of her weaknesses to the entire world. And then, as you said, Ashton, that whole miscommunication between Sasha and Charlotte, where Charlotte pretty much just forced Sasha back into the ring. Personally, and I know I get drunk on my optimism many a time with many talents, but for me, if you're a Sasha Banks fan, I would consider this more of a victory than a defeat, because what this tells me, I don't see Natalya winning the NXT Women's Championship at TakeOver. I will say that right now.
Well,
I,
you never know, dude. I mean, there are two options at Takeover, and both of them involve no title, or both of them are kind of uniform, because one of them involves two different titles changing hands, and the other involves no titles changing hands, because either the Hart family is going to walk out with all the gold, with Natalya and Tyson Kidd walking out with their respective titles, or they're going to walk home empty-handed, in which case Charlotte would then be the women's champion, whereas obviously then Neville would have retained the NXT title. But regardless, there is a distinct possibility that Natalya wins, but it would have to go along with a storyline where I almost called him TJ. Freaking Total Divas is warping my mind. Tyson Kidd would also have to walk away with that title.
and I do fully recognize that that is a possibility for sure, but at the same time, I thought that that was going to happen, with the whole power couple when Brie and Brian were the respective contenders of their championships, and that didn't pan out. So I'm going to go the opposite this time, and I'm going to say that this couple too will come up empty. But my point being, I firmly believe that Charlotte is going to be the second ever NXT Women's Champion, and I do believe that because of this, there is going to be a fallout between her and Sasha Banks, and there is going to be a feud over the NXT Women's Championship. And you know what? Sasha damn well deserves it, because I'm right there with you about this girl's ability and just her greatness inside the ropes. She did one move in here, and it was the biggest pop that it got for me with respect to this match. She had Natalya all in the turnbuckles, and she drove both of her knees into her midsection. I was like, what?
Yeah, it was awesome. I would, dude, to me, what would really make this awesome is if Charlotte won the title and then immediately Sasha Banks just clobbered her from behind to turn on her. That would be so good to me.
Yeah, dude, something like that needs to happen, because you know what? I mean, Sasha was even like, when Charlotte brought her back in the ring, she's like, don't touch me. And you could see, like, they were really about to have that spat. And then after she tapped out to Natalya, Charlotte's just giving her this look like, really, Sasha? It was all together and you screwed it up. And you know what? We see that dissension there and we see it playing out. I want to see these two feud. Not
You
because
know
I'm.
what, though, dude? That almost makes me believe more that Natalya is going to win the title, because that would be like the final nail in the coffin for the BFS, because Charlotte could complain that Sasha didn't do enough to help her win. Sasha can come out looking like $1,000,000 because she and Charlotte then both lost to Natalya, so they could be seen as being on equal footing, and then they can battle it out to see who the number one contender for the title is.
That's true, and then you could go that avenue, and you know what? It would be just as successful. But to me, I just think about it, that initial promo, not just for the bad comedy of it either, where pretty much Charlotte says that she needs to take the reins of the BFFs, with Summer gone, and it needs some flair. Yeah, again. And she's gonna win the championship, and then Sasha's just gonna really just seethe from in the sidelines, and that's just going to be where it just all crumbles and falls apart. And you know what? When it does, It's going to be glorious because Sasha is one of those women people, and I'm telling you, and I really haven't given this much of a glowing review really since Paige. I don't even think I give Emma these kind of glowing reviews, but Sasha is a woman you don't want to miss for sure. She's amazing.
Like I said, man, most underrated diva on the roster.
Absolutely.